delve cards that they play. But or maybe Relic. I've heard. Let's try Relic. And basically, our kind of goal here is to get an early Finks and then kind of ride that. We can also slam a Thrun. Outside of like the blue-red decks have a hard time dealing with Thrun, whereas the Grixis decks have Tasigur, as well as like Gurmag Angler. Should that be a card that they decide to play? But Vis Leona says some what I'm assuming are Korean or Chinese characters. I'm sorry, I do not understand what you're typing. Okay, this seems pretty good. This seems like pretty much exactly what we want. We can get to 3 mana on turn 2, and then we can start playing Finks, and then Acid Moss, which Acid Moss is like not so great. And if it gets remanded, it's like ugh. But no, there's not much we could ask more out of this opening hand. A Blood Moon would be nice, but it'll be fine. Relic. All right. Red, and then the Relic will give us something to play in addition to our second Finks on turn 3. Jace. We want to draw like a few, like 1 or 2 more lands. And we want to threaten his Jace, so that's what we will do. The next turn we have the option of either playing Relic and Finks or Thrun, depending on what we want to do. We will attack here. And then what we'll do, and then here we're going to jam Thrun, and then basically force him to react to that in the next couple turns, so that possibly he will will tap out on his main phase, things like that. He's playing black. He could be playing Damnation. So that is definitely a possibility. We do have the second Thrun. Should he play like a Damnation, we can just being that he'll be tapped out, we can like play another Finks and get the Relic in. Yep. And he'll transform Jace. We'll just play another Finks. And that's kind of how this matchup plays out. We really just want to overload him with threats. Take Logic Knot? No. Could have Logic Knot, could have Remand or Mana Leak. Cryptic and then counter draw. Okay. And then we'll play Relic. Get that going. Yeah, Grok Butt Speaker says, I don't think they'll be on Damnation, but maybe. Yeah, probably not, but I try to, like, stretch to think about options that they have access to. Thrawn is definitely not a... It's a known commodity, but it's not exactly popular. And Thrawn can't be targeted by Jace, so yeah. That's pretty sweet. And really, at this point, I think we'll just go after him with our attacks. I like to be at a point where we can just kind of ignore Planeswalkers. He does have a full grip, though, and he can save himself a few points of damage with, like, Culligan's Command and all that. And, yeah, we're just going to attack him. No need to go after Jace. We've got Jace under control with Relic. And we missed using Relic at end of turn. I'm going to think a while about this birds. It's threatening. And do we play the second? I don't think we need to play the second Relic. I think holding up Regeneration Mana and then that is fine. And then we'll break the Relic now, actually. That we get that terminated out of his yard. As well as the Cryptic. Because he can Cryptic to get around, to buy himself a couple more turns with Thrawn. Against Thrawn. I mean, he does also, like, open himself up to, like, if he plays Cryptic during my main phase and block, okay. Then we'll play another Finks. Could have played Dragon then. And is fine. Tapping out probably for Tasigur. Alright. And that's fine. We basically get to fly over. Play Stormbreath Dragon. He can't cut. There's nothing he can do to counter it. Yeah, alright. Got there. 3 out another day or another Q or 8 single elimination. So let me enter in these results real quick. And tempo. And win. Ah, hell, let's play another league match. And we're up to 80 wins. And 63%. And yeah, 80, 47, 62.99%. And yeah, so Finks did a lot of work there, as well as Thrun, as expected. We do still have to be concerned with Tasigur, so I think leaving in Beast Withins is definitely something we should look at doing. We're on the play. We're on the play. We'll keep it. I have kind of this theory that like this deck can keep more land heavy hands because our top decks are so strong. Infect or so either Infect or that crazy Jeskai Ascendancy deck that's been going around. So Blood Moon would be nice here. So Grok Buttspeaker says this deck is sweet. I'm interested in it. The other deck I was looking at is Jeff Hoogland's Kiki Chord, but this deck is so cheap besides the moons and shares land, so I could do both. Do both. I definitely agree. Might as well, right? Alright, we may just lose this game to our 5-land keep. Thragtusk is not great. But if we rip a Bonfire, that's pretty sweet. Bonfire or Blood Moon would help. It really slows down his pump spells, and then we can deal with his Noble Hierarch, and then basically he's down to like using mutagenic growths and stuff. And Blood Moon is very good against Infect. Alright, Groundswell. You gonna kill me this turn? Alright. I gotcha. You got it. Ouch. Yep. Eh, it happens. So you play Infect, right? Dead Guy Drew asks, do I have a more specific breakdown of your win-loss record against specific decks? I do, actually. I have a whole Google spreadsheet that's devoted to this deck. And I can actually tell you within, even in particular matchups, if how much I win game 1 versus game 1, or what my win percentage is game 2, or how much I win on the play or on the draw. So yeah, I definitely have a lot of information there. So we're gonna bring in the Shocks, the Thrun, and the Pia and the Kieran, and then we're going to bring out the 3 Stone Rains and 1 Thragtusk and 1 Batterskull. Basically, with the taking out these, the Thrun seems it's kind of meh, but we want to have a non-dismemberable threat that also helps our clock. So yeah, I definitely do, Dead Guy Drew, have all that information. If you have a specific question, I can answer it. Other than that, I've been working on putting together a separate slide, a separate window for all of my matchup information for a lot of the tier 1 decks. So I just have not gotten around to it yet. So fairly solid hand. I am a little worried that we don't have our 3rd land in our hand, but we'll be able to do a lot with this. Especially if we draw 1 land, we basically get to go Acid Moss, and then that gets us kind of where we want to be. And we'll play fetch for a basic forest, and play birds, and pass. Glistener Elf. Okay. Glistener Elf is fine. I hope you have basics, my friend. And then we'll be able to Acid Moss. And then assuming that we draw a land in the next 2 turns, or 3 turns, I think. When Acid Moss gets our 4th land. We play our 5th land, and then, yeah. So this is where it can be rough. Sometimes I can have a lot of basics, and because their pump spells cost very little colored mana, they can work themselves out of it. So the problem here is that if he has Mutagenic Growth, I just waste my turn, but I make him use it. I don't really have a land that's incredible to target. Yeah, we'll do it. And reveal. And just so you guys know, whenever somebody reveals a miracle, if you're going to respond to the spell, do not respond accidentally to the miracle trigger, because what you're doing is you're giving your opponent the opportunity to watch what you do and then choose not to cast the miracle spell. I don't have it. I've only had it happen to me once. But the way that miracles work is you draw them, you reveal it to set up the trigger, and then you can respond to that. And then I have the option to cast it. Oh, I should have gone after the Wooded Foothills, being that it was non-legendary. But yeah, so I had an opponent the other day who sacked all of his dudes in response to my miracle trigger, and I just chose not to cast it. And we'll just play Titan to get this game all wrapped up. not specific, but I wanted to compare that against field percentage of specific decks in recent major tournaments to estimate rough predicted win-loss rate overall. Not specific, but I wanted to compare that. To his face. And then we will always set this up to always yield. Pump and pump. Just to make sure he did. And don't really need to play the Arbor Elf. I really like Acid Moss. Too bad there isn't a land destruction cantrip. Oh my god, if there was a land destruction cantrip, that would be wonderful. And so game 2 so far, I am currently 8-2. So game 2 and 3, I'm currently 8-2 against Infect. So yes, it gets much, much, much better. Now there are some people who have suggested that I bring in Ancient Grudge and for Spellskite and Inkmoth Nexus. I ultimately decided against it because my logic is that Sunshock doesn't care about Spellskite, and Stone Rain also does not care about Spellskite, but hits Inkmoth Nexus, regardless of whether or not it's a creature. So the only thing that Spellskite does affect is like my Inferno Titan stuff, as well as Beast Within. But ultimately, I haven't had a problem with it yet, and I haven't really wanted to take out that like one of Stone Rain for the Ancient Grudge. So yeah, well, Dead Guy Drew said not specific, but I wanted to compare that against field percentage of specific decks in recent major tournaments to estimate a rough predicted win-loss rate overall. I don't know exactly what number you're going after, but I'm definitely open. I will I'll create something for the next time I stream so that it has all of that information. We're on the draw. We don't have an accelerator, but we have a Sunshock, and that is pretty dang good here. So we're going to keep. We also have the Blood Moon, so we can do that early. And then we have a draw step, so perhaps we get rewarded by drawing a Utopia Sprawl or an Arbor Elf. That's even better for us. No turn 1 play. I should have led with the Forest there. It's not a huge deal, but just not having to fetch for a land. Oh yeah, Dead Guy Drew. Basically, if your win rate against Eldrazi is say 40%, but it makes up half of the field you play, so 50% against Jeskai, and it's 10% of the field, what is your expected win rate if you look purely at the numbers? Again, just bored and curious. Yo, absolutely. I definitely understand that, like, you want to look at the win percent in addition to like just the raw win percentage against the field. You want to look at the win percentage against the decks you're planning to face, because like you can have like an awesome win percentage against Living End or whatever, but if you're not ever gonna play against it, then like it doesn't matter. And we'll pass the turn. This is where, like, Spellskite, I don't care about Spellskite right now. Sunshock will do its thing. Now, the question is, the decision I'll have to make is that, okay, so he's not going to play, nope, don't want a Bonfire. And the decision I'm going to have to make is, whether to... So he probably has a natural state. Do this. And yes. So either a Spell Pierce or natural state. But regardless, he's not presenting a whole bunch of stuff. So, I mean, I don't feel uncomfortable playing this. I mean, if he has like a Nature's Claim or whatever. I'm curious what his opening hand was. If he kept like a hand without an infect, dude. In addition, like I was playing against one infect player yesterday who kept a hand that was super gross against Spellskite, but I don't board in Spellskites, so he basically just didn't have targets for any of his stuff. And so he was cycling Twisted Images on my Arbor Elf, which I was fine with. And yeah, I don't know what he has in his hand. Probably a bunch of pump spells. It's fair to assume. Don't. So next turn, we'll know. And then, well, we could have attacked into Spellskite there and then bonfired for 2. It's not huge at this point. That probably actually should have been the play that I made. But he also he probably has a pump spell or 2, so being able to trade with Pia and Kieran is not exactly relevant. Okay, so it's a Dryad Mountain and not a Dryad Forest, but it is also summoning sick. Now this is where you get to and we will let's attack with everything. We've got a bunch of gas. And then what we can do is we can split up. If he just puts 2 damage on the Spellskite, yeah, that's great. That's great for us. Because we get to play the Titan. And then split it up 2-1. And he has to spend a pump spell. And you can't redirect the 1 damage from Arbor Elf because Inferno Titan was still also targeting Spellskite. God, Blood Moon just does so much work against this deck. And then what we can do here is throw 2 damage on the Spellskite and 1 damage at him. So that if he blocks Pia and Kieran, Spellskite dies. And you can't redirect. Not that he would want to. Pay 2 life to redirect 1 damage. Grook Butt Speaker says, no one expects an Inferno Titan. Sweetness. I agree. We could have played Chandra here, I guess. And probably won. Apostle's Blessing. That's fine. And yeah, let's play Chandra. Reveal how much of a donk we can be sometimes. Has protection from red, so yep. Look at that. I have to remember more that Chandra's a newer addition to the deck. Like, as of Sunday morning, I added her to the deck. So, remembering that she has haste is like, takes a little bit of getting used to. In fact, so we are currently 7-4 versus Infect. And I believe I have won 4 or 5 straight matches against Infect. I chalk up a lot of the early losses to just learning how to play against their deck. So, and that's a weird matchup where I have more draw wins than I have play. I have no play wins, and I have 3 play losses, and then I have 5 draw wins. So I can win on the curve. After so Shuntrocket to get the why didn't I go for the win after putting 2 damage on the spell Skite and then get damage through? I didn't see that. I could have absolutely. So I mean that would have been the better play there. So this is my probably 12th or 13th match today. So I'll miss some things. So, but thank you for pointing that out, MTG Doug. Pow Bang Boom asks, how does your deck do against Blue Moon? Pretty good, I think. I want to test more against it just to find out. It seems like I lost against it on Sunday at the IQ that I played in, but I lost partially because I misboarded against him because I thought he was Blue-Red Delver, which was like, he showed me Batterskull and Chandra in game 1, and I should have known better, and I just didn't. I don't know why. Just a brain fart there, and but I feel like it functions much like that, whereas but I have access to Ancient Grudge and stuff. So in addition to like Thrun, and then we also bring in Finks, and then we take out Blood Moons, obviously, and then I think the matchup's actually fine to pretty good. But I mean, preliminary testing, so I haven't done a bunch extensively against it. So I've been told that from people who play Blue Moon, that it seems like my deck in that specific matchup is like theirs, just does what we do, like we do what they do better. I'll mulligan this. Well, we've got 3 lands. Blood Moon. Are we on the play? We are not on the play. So, well, we'll keep it. We'll get a scry. Okay. So, MTG Doug, did you say on the 18 that they think this would be good after a possible post-ban of Eldrazi lands still? Oh, yes, absolutely. So it looks like we're playing the black-white Eldrazi deck. And we want to draw lands, so we don't want to thin our deck quite yet. But yeah, I think that like it had a decent matchup against a lot of the non-Eldrazi decks anyway, especially like the creature decks like Abzan and Naya, and those, I mean, they're still good. Like there's really no. It's not worse or anything. All right, we'll go into Forest, and then, or no, we want red. Untap our Stomping Ground, tap for red, and then with here we'll have access to double red and double green starting next turn. We do have to be cognizant of the fact that our double green is contingent on our Arbor Elf surviving. I will exile that card, that's fine. And we'll go ahead and pop up in our graveyards just for convenience sake. MG Doug D said, cool, this deck looks good. Alright, so our graveyards no longer matter. And need something to start looking to when they ban the Blue-Eyed Eldrazi playing. I've been playing. Yeah. So you're part of the menace, huh? Yeah, I mean, my friend, so a friend of a friend took this deck and then all of our boarding notes and all of our testing information and took the deck to GPDC to play in side events and came back with a 14-2 record. 14-2. That is nuts. And we'll go after his non-legendary land. Just to hopefully strand another eye in his hand or something. We want double green. So we'll go with that. So he has 6 power on the board, which is a little intimidating, but if we draw a land next turn, we just slam a Titan and then kill one of the dudes. Or next turn, if we don't draw a land, we can... Alright. Alright. And then we are going to... We'll kill one of his dudes. We'll just go after his Displacer first, just because it... whatever. Not like he would want to displace an Inferno Titan, but... Relic is fine. What are you playing? Scrabbling Claws. Okay, that's fine. Now, contrary to it seems counterintuitive, but right now well, he does not have a Dismember in hand, so, or at least I don't think so. So what we're going to do is we're going to attack, kill one of his dudes, and then should he block and Dismember, we'll Beast Within the token, and then we'll have access to the to a blocker should we need it. All right, should have pumped there. Scrabbling Claws, that's fine. Gross. Cycle those relics, my friend. Oh my god, so that's what? So 4 relics and 1 claw. 2 claws. And then what we'll do here is Beast Within his wastes. Because that's what he was digging for. And we'll just get rid of my token. And we'll pump, and pump, and pump. Cool. I'll accept that. And just casually not play the land. Scrabbling Claws, that's fine. He can play a 4/4 Endless one. Thomas said, why not go for the kill? I could have... Yeah, I could have attacked with... had I played the land and attacked with Arbor Elf, I absolutely could have done that. Dismember. So he dismembers this. And we're just going to pump it. To make it still lethal. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, beast within your own land and then shoot endless one. Yeah, I could have also done that. Sometimes I get like you earmark cards for particular purposes, so sometimes I miss that sort of stuff. And we'll take out one Inferno Titan and bring in one Pia and Kieran. And I think that will be... We don't sideboard ever much. He does play both Dismember and Path. But he's not likely to... Yeah, I think we'll just leave it at that. This deck was cool because we basically only boarded in or out 1 to 2 cards, depending on which version of Eldrazi we were playing against. And nope, I'm not going to keep this hand. 2 lands plus 1 dude is not enough when that land does not produce red. And you have all this other stuff, whereas like basically I want to draw lands. Putting too much stress on my top decks. I'm on the draw. This one's a little better because I get a scry. And I also have the bonfire, so I can bonfire a little bit early. And we'll keep. And yeah, that's good. Curving out is pretty key to this deck. Now we're at a dangerous point where he can go... If he goes like I Thought Not Seer, the game gets much more challenging. Or another temple. Ooh, alright. Okay, that's much more manageable. And then we will, unfortunately, have to fetch a shock land. And then next turn we play Thrun. We'll go after his temple. Well, MG Doug says, I think hitting the waste was correct. Cuts off the Eldrazi from casting anything. The thing is that turn, I could have just killed him. Because had I Beast Within my land to make a 3/3, and then untapped, and then attacked for 6, like the Titan plus the 3 damage. So that's the 3 damage goes to the Endless One, kills his blocker. So he takes 6, 7, 8, 9. And then the Arbor Elf deals 10, and then I can pump for 11 and 12 or whatever. So yeah, that was definitely the right. Thomas definitely had the right line of play there. Sure, I'll take 4. Ooh, gross. All right. Well, that may have just changed the game. So I still have Bonfire, and he has not yet seen Bonfire. So with a deck that like has unknown cards like this, keeping those sometimes hidden sometimes has a lot of value. Now the only we can't even miracle a Bonfire at this point. Well, we could miracle a Bonfire and then save up the birds to block the 4/4. But and then it being that we miracled the Bonfire, we didn't actually draw a land, so we'd have to like draw a land next turn to play the Thrun to hope to block the Endless One and hope that he doesn't have anything else. Not a solid line of play. No, that's fine. You got it, dude. Eldrazi. So in game 1, I was on the play. On the draw. Won that one. Game 2, I was on the play and lost that one. Alright. And then we can go to our board. Look to see if there's anything different. So he's playing Stranglers and Dismember. I have not seen Path yet. So I like PN Kieran here just because it makes like it spreads dudes out for Strangler. Maybe this other. He's playing smaller Eldrazi, so Bonfire is still good. Let's board out a dragon. And board in another Thrun. Lower our curve a little bit if he's going to go after our mana dorks. I don't have any interaction with his lands, and that's a bit nervous. As well, Bonfire in my opening hand is like not as good here. Okay. Well, so we have a choice here. I'll keep it. It's a bit okay. We will we can turn to Blood Moon, but we lose our Sprawl. We have a forest on top. Or we can Let's just do it. Because we can avoid playing Blood Moon for a while, should we need to. Have I tested Chain Reaction? I have not tested Chain Reaction. I'm actually not 100% certain what that card does. Deals X damage to each creature where X is the number of creatures on the battlefield. No. I would play Anger or something over that, personally. Well, I think our non-Blood Moon line is fairly strong. We get to go Beast Within, Acid Moss. We will be giving him a creature, but it's likely the only thing he'll be able to play. So we'll take 2 next turn, we'll take 5 the turn after that, and then 5 the turn after that. And we'll go green and Beast Within right here. I'm not ready to lose my Sprawl quite yet, because that basically, like, that puts a lot of pressure on drawing a second green source in the next like 2 turns. And not like a second green source, like it has to be an actual forest, because with Blood Moon out, all of my non-basic lands are now mountains. And then we'll go and Acid Moss, the forest, or Acid Moss, the Stomping Ground, and we're gonna prep for Blood Moon, should we need to. Now next turn we'll be able to play any 6 mana. You know, if we draw Chandra or a Titan, we're set up, or even a Bonfire to clear the board. Endless One. So we have what? So 3 Titans, 1 Chandra, 4 Bonfire. Like, we just have a ton of outs here. A Dirty Maori says, you kind of got a Blood Moon here, and then corrects himself. Oh yeah, this is way cooler. Yeah. I agree. Oh, well, alright. I mean, we got a Blood Moon here, so let's fetch before we do it. So, gotta top deck something. Tomb of Arami. Man, I have not seen that card in a long time. That is wicked. Alright, take my lumps here. Top deck gods, come on. No. Sometimes you just don't get there. We'll make sure that his lands stay mountains, though. And what yeah. If we draw anything substantial, I think the game is completely different. Good games, my friend. That was on a mold of 5 too, so I don't feel too bad about it. We'll go ahead and finish this out. Sending a message. Absolutely. Absolutely sending a message. Okay, we're going to make him wait real quick while I go to the bathroom. All right. So we're on the we rolled a 1 to their 2, so we're on the draw. We don't have like a solid turn 2 play, but we have a play at 4 mana, and a lot of times, like depending on what deck he's playing, Thrun can just get there. So we'll go ahead and keep it. We have 10 possible, 10 4. 4 3 6 7 10. Yeah, we have 10 possible turn 3 plays we can draw, or turn 2 plays. So we'll go ahead and keep it. Cavern. This will tell me everything. Elves? Eldrazi. Alright. Ace and a Deuce asks why not Huntmaster instead of Thrun. Huntmaster is just not quite what... Like, I've considered Huntmaster so much, like, back and forth. Ultimately, though, he's worse in a lot of the in a lot of the matchups. He just doesn't do anything. Like he just like his tokens don't really block like for affinity, but I don't know. I mean, I've considered it. It's just not anything that just seems underpowered. Thrun is just like you just play like because it can't be countered, and hexproof and blocks everything, and as well as like doesn't get pyroclasmed. Also, interacting with Chandra's minus. It interacts with Chandra's minus a lot better. We'll pass. We run a very high risk of getting smashed this turn. Oh yeah, we're getting smashed. It can't be countered either, guys. Can't be countered. Yep. Whatever. Are you playing something else? Jeez. We'll get Stomping Ground. Because I feel like... Thrun will get in front of the Endless One, probably. No blocks. What have you got? Yeah, you draw says Huntmaster not as good versus Supreme Verdict or Remand. Yeah, absolutely. Which is why we ultimately went up to the second Thrun in the main, because we were kind of underwhelmed with Thrun in a lot of particular matchups. But now that the Grixis and blue-red tempo decks are coming back into their own, we determined that it was just, we would rather have that. All right. Play what? Thought-Knot Seer? No, another Endless One. For 6? Jeez. Okay. You got it, dude. All right, Blue-Eyed Eldrazi. Now, in the interest of... This has been more Eldrazi. I've played more Eldrazi in the last 2 or 3 matchups than I have in the last, week. So, yeah. Maybe I need to be more cognizant of that with hand selection. And I was on the draw. I was on the draw, right? Yep, I was on the draw. Okay. And we will board in. So this David Oso asked, so does this deck have any land destruction? It does, actually. It does, believe it or not. And we take out 1 Titan for 1 Pia and Kieran. And that's about all the sideboarding we do. So Sergio asks, I love playing Summoning Trap and Kiki Horde because you can eat Witness back trap to just keep going off for free when they remand your turn 2 voice. Yeah, actually, so I have Summoning Traps waiting in the wings in case they end up being like a nice necessary part of the 75. Okay. So, yeah, this will be solid. They play like 1 or 2 islands, 1 or 2 plains, and 1 wastes. So, more than likely. And we're going to lead with... okay, so if we lead with Arbor Elf here, and we draw Utopia Sprawl, that means next turn we can go to 4 mana and play Blood Moon and Birds, or another Arbor Elf. And it's pretty low risk. He probably brought in some gut shots. So if Arbor Elf dies, then we have less incentive to fetch anything. So let's just play the Arbor Elf. See how it goes. I Mimic. Alright, that was a pretty solid turn. And so this, whatever I go get, this foothills is going to become a mountain. So let's just go get a mountain. And turn 2 Blood Moon. Go. He's like, you got it? I know you got it. Come on. Endless one? No, another Mimic. Okay. So, Mimics in multiples can be a bit dangerous, as he does... it does allow him to play, like, if he plays an Endless one, he can smash in for 6. But we are going to just accelerate this turn. Or do we want to play Thrun? Let's just play Thrun. So the next turn, if we draw a land, we can play Batterskull. If we don't, we have some backup plays. We'll attack here. And play birds and Arbor Elf. Thrun dies to Languish, and Danare kills Thrun. Danares kills Thrun? What is that? Thrun does die to Languish, though. You're right. That's fine. We're going to take 8 here. And then we can play Titan. Destroy 2. Well, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. Oh, beautiful. Red. And then we'll play Titan. 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, Dirty Mary, Batter Thrun. Yep. Sergio, they need to reprint Pillage. Oh, I actually absolutely believe you. I absolutely agree with you. Blood Moon does die to main deck Kasali Prey Mage. That is true. Aw, but I couldn't equip up my Inferno Titan with Batterskull. That's some nonsense. Alright, so we were on the play. I like it. I mean, that's like the definition of fun police, right? When they're like, I'm going to concede before you get to do any more bonkers stuff. We are on the draw. We don't have... I'm going to mulligan. I think we can go one card less. We do have a scry. Let's go to 5. No, let's go to 4. All right. Alright, well, this may not even be a game. It might be a game if I go like land, if I go like land, well, accelerator, then land. No. No, I don't want to do that. Alright. Go nuts, dude. I mean, that was like a 7, a 6, and a 5, and a 4 with literally no... I have 10 copies. Yeah. I mean, the first hand was like no plays before turn. I mean, I had sprawls. I think maybe that first hand could have got there, but I don't know. I just like to have a solid plan in my opening hand. And maybe that was like a 2. Maybe I was just mulliganing too aggressively. So, David, so first hand was worse than Hitler discussing his views on South Africans. Okay. All right, you got it. But that was actual no, I don't know. Jessica Charming says, so mull until the plan becomes concede. No, I mean, you can mull. I mean, I've mulled to 5. I don't know. The second mulligan pretty aggressively against Blue-White Eldrazi, so who knows. I'm down for one more, and then I'm heading off to bed. So as a reminder, you can follow me on Twitter, at Matt Mendoza. My link is right up above, as well as all of my broadcasts are archived at the YouTube URL, youtube.com/Matt Jacob Mendoza. And I am 1/4 of Canada's premier MTG podcast, The A-Team, hosted by ManaDeprived.com and sponsored by FaceToFaceGames.com. And we are trying to get to Toronto to do a whole bunch of content, so streaming, podcast recording, interviews, deck techs, all sorts of stuff. So you can, all the information is up at the GoFundMe link at gofundme.com/A-Team Toronto. In addition, for all of our donors, we're giving out, we're having giveaways. So for every $25 that you donate, you get a chance to win one of a whole bunch of prizes for both people who are attending and not attending. And then one of those prizes, 2 of those prizes are an Expedition Verdant Catacombs and an Expedition Temple Garden. So, yeah, we would love if you help us out, and if you do so choose. And yeah, so I got to update my win-loss thing as well. 81-49. And that is, yeah, still close enough to 63%. So I'm on the draw. So this hand is high risk, high reward. We'll go for it. We can get 4 mana on turn 2, or we can get 2 mana on turn 2. Or we can get 4 mana on turn 2. Island. No Serum Visions. No Sleight of Hand. Alright. Playing Ghost Quarter. So this is where it becomes a little riskier in that Ghost Quarter slows down these hands a little bit, but it actually is not really all that huge of a deal. So what we're going to do is, instead of trying to get greedy, we're going to Stone Rain his Ghost Quarter. Yeah, and with like Ghost Quarter, had we not like most of the time, if they Ghost Quarter your land, it's fine because they're basically it makes Utopia Sprawl like a 1 mana land destruction spell, which is okay. Okay. We'll go ahead and sprawl up this land. Just it doesn't matter because post Blood Moon, it's all the same. Thrun resolves. I just want to write on every Thrun resolves. Yeah, so while you Stone Rain Ghost Quarter, while you don't target island, it's because I wanted to go. Okay. But yeah, so I wanted to just be able to do all that stuff. I took my Blood Moon, that's fine. And now we can either play Thragtusk or because it's kind of at that phase of the game where the Beast Within needs to go after either the Thought-Knot Seer or the Temple. Well, we're going to play the birds regardless of whether we play the Thragtusk or the... think I will go after this temple. Green. There we go. Temple / wait for I. Curious why one of the Thragtusk, Batterskull, and Chandra. Mostly because they're like threats that are great in different situations, and they're not always great. So, but they're like, so we ran 4 Titans for a long time, and we just discovered that like Titan is great, but it gets pathed and stuff a lot. So we just, for those opportunities, those times when you wanted a Chandra, where Chandra would actually be better, we get that. In addition, with Chandra, it can be a 5th bonfire against the decks that go really wide, like Merfolk or Elves. Or sometimes, like, you play an Inferno Titan, and they have, like, Lords in play, so it just, like, does nothing. It, like, kills one thing. And Thragtusk, I was, like, not comfortable with, I wanted something that came down, gained me life, and then, oh, alright, Bonfire, come on. Well, I wanted something that came down and gained me life, and then left a blocker, even if they had a removal spell. Whereas like Batterskull is fine, but you have to like hope it can get into combat and hope that they don't have anything to mess with it. Yeah, I want to Asimos. Yeah, I should have Asimos' Cavern. But if I go after his but yeah, that's why the one of Thragtusk and Batterskulls and Chandra. Alright, so I'm still not Displacer locked. And it just flickers it. Okay. Another Displacer that cannot be countered. Okay, so I can Bonfire for 3, even if I draw it with Thought-Knot Seer. So we're going to go ahead and put a Regeneration Shield on Thrun. Generate Thrun. Then we'll take 6. We'll go to 6. Why can't we counter his Eldrazi? Oh, he plays it using Cavern. It's a joke. I don't play counter spells anyway, so. Alright. So now we have both Batterskull and Thragtusk. See, so now here's where, like, the perfect example of, if I play Batterskull, he can just flicker the Germ, and just move it out of the way. Whereas if I play Thragtusk, then he doesn't have that luxury. So 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we'll just play both Stone Rain and Thragtusk. Three cards in hand. Thragtusk. Now the question is, do I Stone Rain his Eye or his Cavern? Because his Cavern can flicker stuff, which ultimately doesn't really matter right now, so we'll go after his Eye. And pass turn. If he wants to flicker my Thragtusk, that's pretty sweet. I'll take it. Mimic. Alright. Another Mimic that cannot be countered. Now, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana, 9 mana still. So, that's fine. And then next turn, we can equip up Batterskull to Thrun and just go nuts. Even though he does have access to the Displacer, he needs to draw a third land. We could have attacked there with Thrun. I think that's a safe enough place to attack. We attack for 4. He goes into 12. And then you can flicker the token if he draws a land. And we'll go ahead and equip. All right, here we go. Yep. This is, I think, one American Dream. It feels like. Now I can't even play like the second Thrun to like give vigilance to my tapped Thrun. So all right. It's like I've had enough. That was like a fairly weird blue-eyed Eldrazi draw. Like, I hardly see them open with like basic island. I mean, that's like, all right. And then Ghost Quarter. And I was on the draw. All right, and we will take out the Titan. Bring in Pia and Karen. That Thragtusk attack was terrible. Yeah. I mean, it does present like a threat, a blocker that he can't displace. But I mean, why do you think it was terrible? I knew I was gaining the 8 life, so I was going up to 19. He had to block with something. We'll keep it. See how it goes. Alright, so we get to go to 4 mana next turn. Hopefully draw like an acid moss or something. Displacer. We'll Stomping Ground. Say red. Arbor Elf. Tap. Birds. And pass. So I will have access to 2, 4, 6, 8 mana next turn. So if we draw like a bonfire or something, it's pretty nutso. Fine, we will not block. Displacing this guy. Now, I can't remember whether my mana will stay in my pool as I move to my draw step. Dismember. Dismember resolves. Tap this for mana. Displacer, that's fine. Oh, yeah, it disappears. And then we'll play Thragtusk here. All right. Seven. Drowner? Playing Drowner. Yep. Should have gone after. Should have mossed. In hindsight, I think. Why, yes. Yes, I would like to miracle this bonfire, please. Thank you very much. You can still tap down my Thragtusk this turn, but at least I don't get like Displaced or Drowned. That seems pretty good. Okay. That's partly the way we play that card. Mimic. We'll fetch a Stomping Ground. Nope. Tap, draw. And then we can attack with our Thragtusk here. And then put him back down to lands that he should actually have in play. So 3, that's fine. So 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we wouldn't have been able to give it like trample anyway. I mean, we could have, but we would have not been able to go after his temples like we're going to. Stone Rain. All right, and we'll put him pretty far. Yeah, I could have given Thragtusk trample with Kessig, but I would not have been able to play those 2 spells in that same turn as well. And so at 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 2. So I don't even need this to really. So he takes 6 and then I kill him. Well, I could have. Yeah, you're right. Well, I don't know. Titan? Is it good? Is it good? And I win the match. All right. And that was 2-0. All right. So that's what. So that goes up to 82.49. The deck is definitely sweet. Highly recommend it. He had a mana to pump +6, so 11/3 tramples over 2/1 Mimic to deal 12. Yeah. Yeah, it was more. My mind was more on the Acid Moss Stone Rain plays, so sometimes I miss that stuff. And this is like my 15th or 16th match of Magic today, so. But yeah, forgive me. Well, thank you all for watching. Like I said, the stream will be broadcast, will be archived up there at my YouTube page. So subscribe there and follow me on Twitter at Matt Mendoza, and subscribe to me or follow me, whatever they call it here on Twitch. So thanks for watching, and if you have any questions about the deck, you can send them to me on Twitter or via email at mattjmendoza@gmail.com. Thanks for watching. Have a great night.